comes up all the time. So we can't spend a lot of time in grade 11 and 12 going over how to do it every time. So you should get to the point where you can solve linear equations on your own without asking me, but no problem if you need to. Okay, so first of all, what do we mean by linear equations? Linear has to do with the fact that there won't be any x squareds or x cubes or anything like that. So something like 3x minus 8 equals 17, that is a linear equation. But if it was 3x squared minus 8, it's no longer linear. That's called quadratic, and that's what we're going to spend lots and lots of time in grade 11 working on. But we can't do those with what we know from grade 8, 9, 10, like that, okay? Okay, here's the steps. You might want to pause the video here and write them down if you're not feeling confident about solving linear equations. Otherwise, I'm going to make them a little smaller. Maybe not that small. Is that too small? Hope you can read that. That way I can still refer to them, but I have some room here to answer a few questions. We'll do a few examples here. Okay, so we'll start with one that's not too hard. How about 4x minus 3 equals 16? So as you go through this, multiply each term by the lowest common denominator to get rid of any fractions. There's no fractions, so we don't have to do that step. Maybe I could get a slightly smaller highlighter here. There's no fractions, so we don't have to do that step. Mountains, use the distributive property to get rid of brackets. There's no brackets in this question. We don't have to do that. Combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. There's none of those, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll talk about that after. Move all the variables to the same side. Well, we only have variables on one side. There's no variable over here, so we don't have to do that. So we're all the way down to step 5. Don't worry, we'll do examples with 1, 2, 3, 4, but I just want to show you we're going to start where we only have to do step 5 actually. So basically in this question we want to isolate the variable, which means we want to get the letter by itself. So we want this x right here to be by itself on this side of the equal sign. So we have two numbers here that are problems, the 4 and the -3. And remember, when you're solving linear equations, there's two main rules that we want to remember. I guess I should have written these down too for you. They're in no particular order, but one rule is do the opposite operation. Now, what do I mean by that? The opposite of adding is subtracting. The opposite, so adding and subtracting are opposites. Multiplying and dividing are opposites. Square rooting and squaring are opposites, although those won't come into play. That won't happen in solving linear equations. It won't start until quadratics, but it's the same idea. So that's one rule, always do the opposite. And the other rule we have is what you do to one side you must do to the other. Okay, you might want to stop, pause the video, and write that down because I'm going to erase that in a second. Anyway, we're all the way down to step number 5 here. Isolate the variable, get the letter by itself. So we want this x by itself. Notice we have to do the adding or subtracting step first. So this 4 here is 4 times x. If we were to do the opposite, we'd be dividing. This is -3. To do the opposite would be adding, and we want to do the adding and subtracting first. So you want to add 3, and what you do to one side, you have to do the other side. So what's left over here is 4x. -3 plus 3 is 0, so we don't have to write that down because it's gone. And on this side, 16 plus 3 is 19. Oh, strange question. I should have made it so it works out the whole number, but that's fine. Often you don't get whole numbers. Now this is 4 times x, so we do the opposite and we divide. What we do to one side, we must do the other. So we end up with x equals, you could take your calculator and go 19 divided by 4, and you could get 4.75, I believe. Or it's totally okay, and in some ways it's even better if it doesn't go in evenly, you just say, oh, 19 divided by 4 is the same as 19 over 4. All right? Okay, let's go back now. Let's do one where we need to use more steps. How about one like 3x minus 18 equals 6x plus 4. I'm probably going to get more fractions every time. I'm just making these up as we go. Okay, there's no fractions, good. There's no brackets, good. Combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So what this means is there anything, if we just look on the left-hand side here, if you just look at this bit over here, can you combine those together, any terms there? No, you can't. So there's no like terms to combine. And if you look on the right-hand side, the 6x plus 4, is there anything that you can combine on that side? No, there's nothing you can combine here. So we don't have any like terms on the same side. Step 4, move all the variables, so those are the letters, you want to move them all to one side. So you want to think about this. You have a choice. You could move the 3x over, so you could go minus 3x, or you could do minus 6x and move that over. And either way will work. But what I encourage you to do, if it's possible, is to move the smaller one, because that'll keep your x's positive, and most of us don't like dealing with negative variables. So minus 3x from this side, and what you do to one side, you must do the other. Careful, you still have minus or negative 18 there. 6x take away 3x is 3x, and we still have plus 4. Okay, now we're down to step 5, isolate the variable. We don't want to do the multiplying and dividing step, we want to do the adding subtracting step. So since this is plus 4, we'll minus 4 and minus 4. Negative 18 take away another 4 is negative 22, and it's now equal to just 3x because this cancels out. This is 3 times x, so we'll divide by 3 and divide by 3. We get x equals negative 22 divided by 3. It's going to be some repeating decimal. I'm just going to write it like that. I'm happy with that. All right, let's do 2 or 3 more. So let's go back another step. Let's go to one where you need to combine like terms. How about 14x minus 3 plus x equals 17 plus, I don't know, 12x minus 8. Again, probably going to get a horrible answer. Okay, no fractions, can't do it. No brackets, don't have to do that. Combine like terms on the same side. Okay, we can do that this time. If we look at this left-hand side of the equal sign, do you see we have like terms? We can combine this with this. And if you look on the right-hand side, do you see we have like terms? We can combine this with this. So that's the first thing we want to do. We want to combine 14x plus x. Remember, you always look at the signs in front. So 14x plus x is 15x, and we still have minus 3. And on this side, we have 17 take away 8, which is 9, and there's still plus 12x. All right, now it's like a question we did last time. Move all the variables to one side. So you could move the 15x over, or you could move the 12x over. What do you want to do? I like to keep them positive, so why don't we move the smaller one? Minus 12x, minus 12x. We get 3x minus 3 equals 9. Hey, this one's going to work out perfectly. Whole number this time. Do the adding subtracting first, so plus 3 plus 3. 3x equals 12. Since this is 3 times x, we have 3 times x, we have to divide and divide, so we get x equals 4. Love it when we get the whole answer. It just feels good. One thing I've forgotten to do even once, which probably isn't too good, is I can check my answer if I want to. And of course, the way I would do that is I would take this 4 and I would plug it in here, and I would plug it in here, and I would plug it in here, and then we'd see if the left-hand side equaled the right-hand side. And I assure you it will, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay? It's a good thing to do to make sure you're getting your answers right on a test or something, but it's not good to do when you're trying to make a video. It doesn't go on all day. All right, let's go back another step. So now we want to have one with brackets. How about 2x minus 3 plus 4 equals 5x plus 6. Okay, first step, get rid of any fractions. We don't have any fractions. Next one, get rid of any brackets. We do have brackets. So the way we get rid of brackets is we expand. We do mountains. And we have one here too, so we can do mountains. Okay, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And we still have a plus 4 here. Equals 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 6 is 30. Next step, combine like terms on the same side. Do we have any like terms? None of them over here, but yes, we do over here. We can combine the negative 6 and the plus 4. So we get 2x, negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2, equals 5x plus 30. Next step, move all the variables to one side. Do you want to move the 2x or the 5x? How about the 2x? Keep our x's positive. So we have negative 2 equals 3x plus 30. We want this x by itself. We're now in step 5. We want this x by itself. Do the adding and subtracting first. So subtract 30 and subtract 30. So we get negative 32 equals 3x. That means 3 times x. We should do the opposite, which is divide. So we get x equals, if you take a calculator, you're going to get a repeating decimal. I'd rather write it as a fraction. So there's my answer. Check that if you want. That'd take a little bit of time to check that one, but you certainly still could. Okay, last one. Let's do one that has every single step in it. Okay, this could be a really scary answer here, but we'll try it. 3 bracket x plus 3 divided by 2 minus 4x equals 7x minus 2 divided by 5. Okay, step 1, multiply each term by the LCD to get rid of any fractions. Do we have fractions? Yes, we do. We have one here, we have one here. So we want to get rid of those fractions by looking for the LCD. What's the lowest common denominator? Okay, well here the denominator is 2, 5, and 1 here. What's the lowest common denominator of 2 and 5 and 1? 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply all of these by 10, by 10, by 10. This is a really hard question. Okay, now when you multiply by 10, you could do the 10 times 3 to start and then divide by 2. But what I invite you to do, I think is a good idea, is to do the dividing first. So what's 10 divided by 2? 10 divided by 2 is 5. All we have left there is 5. Don't have to divide here. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So let's look at what we have now. We now have 5 times 3, which is 15. Whoops, new color. And we still have x plus 3. Minus 10 times 4x is 40x equals 2 times 7, 14. And we still have the x minus 2. All right, next step, get rid of the brackets. So we have to do our mountains. Mountains there, mountains there. 15 times x is 15x. 15 times 3 is 45. Still have a minus 40x equals 14 times x is 14x. 14 times 2, or negative 2, is negative 28. Next step, combine like terms. Do you see any like terms? How about on the right? Nope. On the left? Yes. We have this and this, including the sign in front. So 15x take away 40x is negative 25x. We still have plus 45 equals 14x minus 28. Next step, move all the variables to the same side. Do you want to move the 25x or the 14x? Now, I know you might say that 14x is smaller, but it's not, because this is negative 25x, so that's the smaller one. So since this is negative 25x, we want to add 25x and add 25x. It's going to be a horrible answer. 45 equals 39x minus 28. Next step, isolate the variable. Do the adding and subtracting first. So we need to add 28 and add 28. So we get 73 equals 39x. Last step, we want to get that x by itself. Since it's 39 times x, we will divide by 39 and divide by 39. You can get your calculator out if you want, but I'm happy if you just put 73 over 39. Make sure it's in lowest terms, and it is, because I believe 73 is prime. Okay, I know that's pretty fast, but hopefully that kind of reminds you how to do solving linear equations. Okay, any questions, and come and see me. But really do your best to understand this. This is pretty critical in grade 10, 11, 12, university, and beyond. Children